So now Michelle has reinvented herself as a fashion, beauty, and style icon because who better? Who better? Okay. And I'm just gonna be a bitch about it because Michelle Obama is selling a bunch of horse shit to us. Okay. And she's got the mask on. She's got the fun, friendly, I'm relatable Michelle Obama mask on. People magazine airbrushed these teeth. I'm just gonna say it. They fucking airbrushed the teeth now. Michelle Obama. Oh, by the way, there's also an audio version of this book narrated by Michelle Obama, which is serious gall because this is a coffee table book, and coffee table books are predominantly composed of images, and the text is minimal at best. But her book isn't just about navel gazing, about how fucking awesome she is. No, no, no. Michelle Obama with this book, and I quote, has given us, I believe this was per Robin Roberts, a new way of looking at how we look. And I don't know by that whether Robin means how we look in our self-presentation or how we look at aesthetics and style and what they mean and why they're important. But you know, we're not really, it's not a brain trust. It's not a brain trust. Okay. So here is Michelle laying out because we have to lay out the premise of her new book on this hour-long tongue bath. And, you know, by the way, listen, it would not be a Michelle O production if there weren't some problems. Here we go.
You have a beautiful new book. It's called The Look.
Thank you.
A deep dive into fashion and style. Why this topic now?
I don't know if you noticed, but during my 8 years in the White House, although there was a lot of attention given to my fashion, my physical appearance, all of that, I made it a point to shy away from that conversation.
Oh, Michelle Obama made it a point to shy away from that conversation. I guess that's why she did 3 Vogue covers in 7 years. I guess that's why. She, you know, she didn't want the conversation to be about the way she dressed and presented as the First Lady of the United States of America, when in fact, that's baked into the job description. And you have the extreme honor of representing this nation, and you get to have a ton of fun with clothes that the rest of us could never afford and be dressed bespoke by high-end designers any of us could only dream of meeting, and then wearing such clothes and garments and gowns to meet some of the most consequential figures in modern history. But we're going to shy away from that because Michelle's a real intellect, okay? Oh, and by the way, she was worried it would become a distraction, but now she wants us to buy her book about all the looks that she wore in the White House. Again, logic is not a through line with Michelle Obama. She's not that bright. I'm sorry, she's not that bright. And I believe that I found the Princeton thesis, the very one that Christopher Hitchens found and read and said he couldn't make heads or tails of it, that it made no sense. And I felt the same, like it made no sense. Okay. We're looking at Michelle Obama's Vogue covers, March 2009, right after the election, another one from April 2011, before the election of 2012, and her farewell Vogue cover or it was towards the end, right? So December 2016, she made Vanity Fair's International Best Dress list 2 years in a row, the New York Times, the Washington Post, WWD, W Magazine, Harper's Bazaar, I could go on, spent reams of ink and column inches just singing the praises of this woman. Newsweek called her sophisticated yet relatable, feminine yet strong, a 21st century woman for a 21st century White House on that final Vogue cover. Michelle Obama, and this is relevant because she's going to go in on how racist the fashion industry is and how she was the first one to point this out and wear marginalized designers. All right, listen. That final Vogue cover, she was wearing Carolina Herrera, okay? Carolina Herrera, who has since retired, but you know, you want to talk the epitome. And I loved Carolina Herrera, but these are Michelle Obama's words. Rich, white, older lady who specialized in dressing Upper East Side socialites. Yet Michelle O wore Carolina Herrera on the cover of Vogue, and then inside she wore Atelier Versace. Okay, so where were the black designers then? Okay, Michelle, you were the first lady. Why don't you take it over to Anna Wintour for any one of your 3 Vogue covers? Now, here's what she told Vogue in the 2016 tongue bath of a profile. Okay, sorry to repeat myself. This is Michelle O, and I quote, "It all boils down to comfort level. If I'm going to make you comfortable, then I have to be comfortable first. So my first reaction when she is presented with a garment isn't, it's important because we're contradicting ourselves. It isn't who made this. Extrapolating, this is me. It also isn't what is the color, race, sex, and gender identification of the designer. No, Michelle says in this Vogue interview, her first reaction is, let's try it on. What does it look like? Oh, that's cute. Oh, wow. I never thought of wearing something like this. Let's put a belt on it. I feel good in this. And that's to say nothing of the toned arms, which I think was the entire first term. The Obamas, when they were in the White House, that first 4 years, there were reams of think pieces devoted to Michelle Obama's toned arms and the semiotics of her toned arms and what they meant for women and power and women of color and power. So shut up. Shut the fuck up. Now, this may be one of my favorite parts of this interview because it shows how delulu Michelle Obama is, okay? This is so embarrassing. First of all, Robin Roberts wants to make it very clear to the viewing audience at home. It's very important to her, Robin, that she communicates to us that she and Michelle Obama are friends. And again, legacy media wonders why. Okay, so Robin, who is also a woman in her 60s, I believe, asks Michelle if she would do what the kids online are calling a fit check. That's an outfit check, okay, for those of us over the age of 13. Here we go.
Let's do a fit check right now.
Okay. All right.
All right. So what were you thinking for today?
Fit check.
And the message you want to say?
I'm thinking we're at Marymount. We're with students. So I wanted to be a little relatable, a little cool, but, throwback with the brooches because that's kind of a reminder that I did a lot of brooches. The most important thing is that it's cute.
Oh my God, she has such a high opinion of herself. Let's break this outfit apart, okay? Can we please? And by the way, if you're listening, I'm going to implore you, go to this section of the YouTube content because you have got to see what she is wearing. She's wearing what is referred to as a Canadian, like, leisure suit. What do we call that? I forget, but she's wearing denim on denim, okay? She's wearing what looks like nearly acid wash faded gray denim, a denim jacket that is the shoulder pads are so wide that she looks like a linebacker. And I am telling you, I think her team kind of fucking hates her. I do. People who loved her or had great affection for her or were treated well would never allow this ever. So the shoulder pads are out to here. For a woman, by the way, who we know her bête noire is that, she can be considered at times to look a bit masculine. She's looking like a football player. And then we're wearing very high-waisted denim jeans. I mean, they are coming up to basically her breasts. They're like cutting off any abdomen that's there, okay? Then we've got a brooch. Again, how we looked was a distraction in the White House, but we do want to have a callback to what we wore while in the White House, and that was a lot of brooches. Brooches were our thing. She is wearing a 3-pronged black enormous brooch that looks like the Exxon Valdez oil spill. Okay. And then she says, the important thing is that I look cute. You don't look cute. Oh, and she's got these coffin nails that are just hygienically disgusting. I don't know the level of like dust mites and whatever else you're collecting under those nails on any given day. And they're painted like this Tiffany blue. And no braids again. We're not wearing braids. And Robin's not wearing braids either. Robin's wearing those sneaker heels. Have you seen these things? They're like, they're not taking off. Like, I forget the designer who has really tried to make them like a thing. They're sneakers, but then they have like spike heels and they look ridiculous. Okay. And Robin Roberts is wearing them. She looks ridiculous. Robin asks Michelle, if in 2007, right before entering the White House, she realized, oh, this is my, I hate this word. I want it eradicated from the lexicon. And you know, everyone who uses this word, they think they sound so smart. You sound like an idiot. Michelle, did you realize, as the incoming First Lady of the United States of America, and again, the subtext is here is Black. You were the first Black First Lady. This racist country elected your husband, and they welcomed you with open arms. But you, quote, had to become more intentional with your fashion. Here we go.
And you also say, as a Black woman, I was under a particularly white hot glare.
Making a mistake in a political environment where you're the first and people are, where your opponents are using your race as a fear-based strategy to make you seem like other, then everything matters.
White hot glare. We've racialized the glare. The glare's white. She's a Black woman. Oprah Winfrey, arguably back then, no, not even arguably, empirically, the most influential figure in American media. Black woman who America made a billionaire, used her considerable power to do something she had never done before. She endorsed Barack Obama. But this country is so racist that, and you know who else was dying to dress her and the girls and did it for the inauguration, no less? Jenna Lyons over at J. Crew. Jenna Lyons was then the creative director. I believe that was her title. And Mickey Drexler, a white man, was the head of J. Crew, and they dressed her. But, we're just racist nation. And everyone was just looking to pick her apart. Pick her apart. Okay, now Michelle talks about the lack of diversity in designers. And basically what she's saying, hey, all those other first ladies that came before me, racist. Nobody, sorry, that was Oprah adjacent. I don't know what's happening to me. Anyway, Michelle goes on to give herself some flowers here and congratulate herself for picking Jason Wu for her inaugural gown. Jason Wu seems lovely. His career has not taken off, okay? Narciso Rodriguez, who does not need the likes of Michelle Obama. Narciso got famous because he worked with Carolyn Bessette before she married JFK Jr., and he designed her wedding dress, and that made him a household name, okay? But he's got to pay fealty, and we're going to have some tears brimming as well when we talk about Michelle. And then Tracy Reese, who is a Black female American designer. I personally really like Tracy Reese, both as a designer and a person. I interviewed her for my fashion book about the 90s, Champagne Supernovas. Lovely, but that also didn't turn Tracy Reese into a superstar. So Michelle, I don't know why you just never talked to Anna Wintour about the lack of diversity in fashion or over at Vogue, but let's go.
You talked about the diversity and representation, and I don't have to tell you, it's under siege right now. And you said it's not only important for fashion, but for society as well.
I think we know this as a country. We know better than this. I'm still thinking about the country that elected Barack Obama overwhelmingly as president twice. We are still those people. It's just that sometimes we can get lost in the struggles that we face. And when folks are facing tough economic times, when jobs are scarce, when opportunities seem to be less, it's easy to have somebody make you think it's somebody else's fault. But when we look around at truly who has built this country, it's all of us. And all of us is Black, brown.
Okay, I don't know what this has to do about a book about fashion, a book about Michelle Obama's fashion when she was in the White House, except to say that we are racist, except for when we voted for Barack Obama, not once but twice, overwhelmingly. But we were racist enough to be trying to pick apart Michelle Obama's looks while she was on the cover of Vogue 3 times in 7 years, and designers were falling all over themselves to dress her. I don't know. I'm confused. I'm lost. Again, I consider myself a pretty intelligent person. I'm lost. Now, The designers were not allowed to talk to Michelle directly. No, they had to film themselves paying fealty to what Michelle Obama did for them, which is a whole lot of nothing. Okay. They're not rich and famous. They're not. Now, then she's at Marymount, which is near her DC mansion. Okay. She did not go for a book about fashion. She was not willing to travel to the two most famous, legitimate fashion institutions in America. That's FIT or Parsons School of Design. She's not going there. Okay. And then she does the thing where she surprises the students, right? Like Robin Roberts enters the room first, the classroom. And Michelle Obama does this all the time. She loves to do this where she has her host, her interviewer, enter a room and say, hey, you guys, like to a group of unsuspecting people, you're never going to guess who's with me, who's right behind me. You'll never guess. You'll never guess, right? And then in comes Michelle. And I'm telling you guys, with each passing year, the reaction becomes more and more muted to the point where I wonder like how many of these kids know or care who she is or actually are not fans. Because in this special, and you should go look at it on Hulu, like Michelle comes in, she's like, I'm here, I'm me, and I'm here. And the kids are like, oh, okay. And then she makes an effort to interact with the design students, the fashion design students. And she's like, it's like she's Tim Gunn on Project Runway. And she's like, show me what you're doing here. Show me what you're doing. Oh, I love a bodice. I love a bodice and a full skirt. And Robin, her VO is Mrs. Obama's command of draping and design. Get out. We see the way she dresses on her podcast. She has zero fashion sense and she puts that hair into two pom-poms on the top of her head. She's a 60-something-year-old woman or 60 per people. I don't even know. But you know what I'm saying? Again, proof to me that her team hates her. And she not only, there's a difference between having no taste and having bad taste. And Michelle Obama, when she is left to her own devices, has bad taste. Now we are going to get to some controversy, namely Michelle wore, again, her team fucking hates her. Beginning of the Obama presidency, Michelle going to meet Queen Elizabeth II, since deceased, at Buckingham Palace. A state visit. The world is there. The world's media is there. And Michelle walked in that room wearing a black cardigan that looked like she got it on the sale rack at J. Crew. And that, here we go.
On her very first international trip in 2009, there was outrage over the casual look the First Lady chose to meet the Queen.
We have to discuss the President and the First Lady and the Queen. So they were in London.
I mean, listen, you're learning on the job as First Lady, and protocol is one of those things that can be really tricky. And certainly the cardigan issue made headlines. Should she have worn a cardigan to meet the Queen? Should she not?
But on her next trip to London in 2011, it was a different story. The First Lady got rave reviews when she wore a Tom Ford gown to Buckingham Palace.
He made a beautiful pleated gown that I basically carried around like a little baby so that it wouldn't get messed up. It just transported you, and it was just this classic, beautiful look.
It was a look that echoed Jackie Kennedy when she and President Kennedy visited the same Queen 50 years earlier.
Okay, first of all, outrage, the word that Robin used over the sweater. There was not outrage, okay? But there were questions raised, like why the F is our First Lady going over to meet Queen Elizabeth in a cardigan sweater, in a cheap cardigan sweater? That looks like disrespect. Okay. And it was. And even very friendly outfits like the Huffington Post were like, Michelle, WTF. Okay. And by the way, this excuse that was given by that author about the White House, when you're First Lady, like issues of protocol can be tricky. Yeah. That's why all First Ladies are given a right-hand person who knows that shit inside and out. So you don't make a rookie mistake like that. And if I'm Michelle Obama, after Tom Ford comes in and corrects that, and not only does it, but does it like the genius genius he is. I love Tom Ford so much. I'm asking Tom Ford to be my official designer. My entire tenure in the White House, be my official designer. And if you can't do that, Tom, would you please just be a sounding board? Could I just run everything by you? The decision to echo the gown that Jackie Kennedy wore to the exact same monarch at the exact same location was genius. And the only problem is Michelle Obama can't walk the way Jackie could, okay? She's not moving in an elegant manner, okay? Now, we're pressed for time, so I got to skip over the daughters. I got to skip over what she says about her daughters, wearing her clothes. I'm going to tell you something. You see those girls walking around, they look like unmade beds. They do. They're vaping or they're smoking in public. Barack, by the way, is nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. And we're going to talk to our pal, Mark Bowden, who's coming back very soon when Michelle talks about their date nights, okay? We're going to take that apart like the crime scene it is. Now, there's a whole chapter in this new book called Hair Journey. Hair Journey. Again, journey is a destination. It's a geographical trip from point A to point B. Our hair is not a journey. Oh my God. Now, her bangs caused a stir. And guess what, you guys? That's because we're all racist. It's because we're all racist. And then Robin Roberts admits that they were caused such a stir that even Robin asked Michelle about the bangs in a GMA interview. But I guess that doesn't make Robin racist because Robin's black. And I think at the time, now, Michelle wore braids to her and Barack's. Oh, by the way, you know why I wanted to show the clip about the girls? And we can't do it, but there was a major grammatical error committed by Michelle Obama when she's telling Robin Roberts about the clashes she and Barack would have over how the girls dressed in their downtime. And, Barack didn't approve a lot. And she says, me and Barack would disagree. It's a Princeton grad. Me and Barack would disagree. And, listen, we all misspeak. I certainly misspeak on this podcast, but I try to correct myself in real time. And again, none of Michelle's people stopped that interview and said, Michelle, correct yourself. Make them roll back the tape and make them insert that, which they could have, but they didn't. And I'm telling you, this is going to my theory that her people effing hate her. Anyway, the unveiling of the official portraits of Barack and Michelle at the White House in 2022. Michelle wore braids because now we're liberated because we don't live in the White House anymore under the white hot glare of racism. But in her portrait, she has straight hair. So why? Here we go.
That was intentional. But
braids.
It was like having me, the former First Lady, a black woman, show up in the world in her natural hair. Even if I didn't do it for those 8 years, I understood the importance of doing it at some point and signaling a message to young girls and to professionals out there. Stay out of our hair, We're just trying to get to work and do it fast and efficiently. Don't tell a black woman how to wear her hair.
Nobody's telling you how to wear your hair. Clearly, you come out with pom-poms on your podcast all the time. Nobody's effing telling you how to wear your hair. They should, but they're not because they respect your boundaries. And by the way, this is all such bullshit because, Karine Jean-Pierre hit that White House podium, another one out on her book tour, hit that White House briefing room every day in her natural curls. And she looked great. I think she's an idiot, but she looked great. And now she's out on a press tour wearing hair that Michelle would, I guess, consider white women hair. And, she doesn't look as attractive. Karine Jean-Pierre looked great with her natural curls. So Michelle can shove it. Buy my book, you racist white ladies. Okay, listen, this book is going to hit the bestseller list, the New York Times bestseller list. It is a given. But let's do our job, troublemakers, and make sure it lives there for a week. And then it's gone. Okay? I'm sure this thing is priced at $69. Now, at the end of the interview, the real Michelle Obama comes out. The real Michelle Obama comes out, like all mega narcissists. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. They can only keep the mask affixed for so long. Michelle's got a book she's selling. She's got to appear cheerful and happy and relatable. And, you know, we got to do that if we want to make all of our money and all of this and prove that we're relevant, because the podcast is not doing so. Okay. And brother Craig, by the way, hasn't been conscripted either to talk about how fantastic and stylish his sister is. You know, my brother Bill was on our Halloween episode and I was in a costume and he gave me a very nice compliment and said, "You look fantastic." I didn't see that coming. That's because my brother actually likes me. Okay. And I actually enjoy my brother. You know, Craig, as we know, is terrified of Michelle, terrified, but he's not around either. Okay. Now, and again, Michelle is trying to convince us all that she's the most beautiful and stylish and relevant first lady to not only inhabit the White House and then have an afterlife that extends beyond and a relevance that extends beyond since Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, and not so. Never. It's sacrilege. So just stop, okay? Just stop. But now we're towards the end of the interview. Excuse me, I did not articulate that properly. And we are hungry, probably. I mean, I know we're on Ozempic and we're not supposed to talk about that or whatever GLP-1 she's on. But Michelle Obama has lost more than half of her body weight very quickly. And none of us are allowed to ask about it, even though we are talking about how we look, selling a book about how we look. It's the end of the interview. I think we're a little cranky. I think, you know, all of that energy expended and being fun and sitting up straight and, you know, playing ball, we're exhausted by it. The mask comes off, okay? Listen to this answer. That Michelle, that this interview pretty much concludes with. Here we go.
They are the people who are with me, have been with me through this slog of life.
This slog of life. Okay. She's talking about her personal makeup artist, her personal stylist, her personal hair person who travel with her everywhere she goes so she can look the best she can possibly look. I'm just going to be a bitch about it. It's a heavy lift. Stop with this. Has your dentist recommended that you wear a night guard because you grind your teeth while sleeping? So many people have this problem. And if so, you need to know about Remy. Remy's custom night guards are a game changer. You get the same professional quality as a dentist-made guard, but at 80% less cost, and it's more convenient. You can also use your HSA, FSA at checkout. Here's how it works. Remy sends an impression kit to your door. You follow these simple instructions, you send it back, and they craft your custom fit night guard. And if you order your night guard between now and December 24th, Remy is gifting their customers with a free 2-in-1 foam that cleans your night guard and whitens your teeth just in time for the holidays. Go to shopremy.com/nerve and use code NERVE to receive 55% off your new night guard plus your free foam gift. That is shopremi.com/nerve for 55% off a night guard plus free gift using code NERVE. And thank you to Remy for sponsoring this episode.